Hello everyone, in this video we're going to set up a virtual machine on our local PC or laptop. So for this video I'm going to use VirtualBox, and I'm also going to use the flavor of Linux called Mint. You can use Ubuntu or Arch or another Linux distribution if you wish, but if you want to follow along with this video, Mint is what we're going to be using. So to start off with, if you just go and Google VirtualBox, so go into the Oracle VM VirtualBox, and once you navigate there, just go to the downloads and then select whatever platform you want it for. So for example, if you're on Windows, you're going to select Windows. If you're on Mac like me, you're going to select the Mac version. Then once you have done that, you need to go and head over to get yourself a Linux distribution. So I'm going to choose Mint because if you look at the research, it seems that Mint is slightly better performance than Ubuntu, but I know Ubuntu is a very popular beginner distribution to start using, but you can use either or. For most cases it's not going to matter if you're using Mint or if you're using Ubuntu, or maybe you want to use Red Hat or CentOS or whatever you want. But the main thing is that you go and download an iOS image. So if you go to the Mint website, then go to downloads, and you'll see there's 3 different versions here. So if you want a really lightweight one, this is the best one for you. If you kind of want something in the middle, so you want to try and get good performance out of your machine, but you're not too concerned about, really fancy glossy UIs and everything like that, you probably want to go for this version here, the matte edition. But to be honest, if you go for this one, or even the last one, it's not going to really matter. The main thing is that you go and download this, and when you go here, you're going to select whatever type of mirror that you're going to go and download it from. So you want to find a place that's close to you. So if you're in Ireland like me, you'd go for this one here. But if you're in Latvia, Poland, France, or in the US or whatever, you're going to go and select the one that's closest to you. It'll just be a faster download when you do select it. And once you've got that downloaded, you'll have to go through just a few steps to set up your VirtualBox. And then when you open up your VirtualBox, it should look something like this. So I'm just going to open up mine here. And when you see this here, we have no images, no VMs or anything like that, because it's just freshly installed. But to set one up, we're just going to select new and then give it a name. So I'm just going to call it Mint Box. I guess maybe, yeah, Mint Box will be fine. Select what type. So we're using Linux. It's not actually Ubuntu, so I don't think this has an option for Mint. So we're just going to say other Linux, and it's going to be 64-bit. You're going to hit continue. Now this is going to be personal preference to what you select. So this is allocating some memory for your machine. So there's going to be memory on your laptop or PC or whatever. Now, depending on how much you have, you're only going to be able to allocate so much to your virtual machine. So on my Mac, I have 16 gigabytes. So I could give my virtual machine maybe 4 of those, and my Mac would still run fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it 4,000 megabytes, which is approximately 4 gigabytes. It's a little bit less because there's 1024 megabytes in 1 gigabyte, but we'll not worry about that for now. Then moving on to this next step here. Do you want to create a virtual hard disk? We probably do, so we can go and tear it down and delete everything once we're done. So if we have a virtual hard disk, when we are working within our machine, when creating files or downloading programs or whatever, we can just store our information there, and then if we want to get our virtual machine, tear it down, delete it or whatever, we want all them files to be taken down with it. So we'll create a virtual hard disk now. We'll hit create, then we go into this here, and we can select VirtualBox disk image, or this. I'm going to select this one here. Again, these are not big decisions, you know. You can change it if you want. Then when we go to dynamic or fixed, dynamic would be it changing, so the memory size or the size of the hard disk, so the storage changing. Whether if it was fixed, it would just be, you know, set at 20 gigabytes or whatever, and if you wanted to download a program and you didn't have any extra space, then you'd kind of be stuck. You'd have to go and then change it manually. So we're going to go with dynamic, and then just select a starting size. So I don't know, I'll put maybe 20 gigabytes here, and that seems like a pretty decent amount of storage, I think, for just a VM that's not going to do a lot. So we'll select that, and you can see once we've done that, we've got a few things here. So some meta information we can see about it. We can see the name, operating system, and you can just go and look at all the stuff that you've set to it. So you set 4 gigabytes. So now what we want to do is we want to just start it up. So we're going to hit start, and the first time I done this, I actually had a bit of an issue. So I'm just going to go and pull up exactly the problem I had. So this is what I was getting. I was getting an error saying that the kernel driver was not installed. This RC equals 1908 error on my Mac. And if you read down through this, you'll see this as well. This is the actual error that pops up. So if you're seeing that, what you need to do is you need to go into your settings, go into system preferences, and then you'll see this at the bottom. So you want to go and allow this. Now I don't have this part on my screen anymore because I've already allowed this, so it doesn't pop up or show me anymore. But if you have got that problem on the Mac, you might want to go and do that. If you're on Windows, I don't think you'll have an issue because I've used VirtualBox on Windows many times and I've never had any problem like that. Okay, so back to this. We want to go and select our image here, so you can see it's currently empty. So if we just click on the little folder and then go to add, and what we're doing here is we're trying to find an Linux iOS image that we can use to install, and then that'll be used by the virtual machine. So that's what we're looking for now. So that image that Mint Linux ISO that we downloaded, that's what we're looking for now. That's why we needed to download that. So I've downloaded a few things in the last while, but this is what we're looking for here. So if I select that, so Mint Linux, the version that we're using, it's the latest one at the minute, is just 20.2, so that's the one that I'm going with. So I'm going to just open that up, and now I'm going to choose, and now I'm going to start. And now hopefully if everything goes well, it should just start up. Cool. So if we just hit start Linux, not worry about that. So this might take a few minutes. Again, just get rid of that. This might take a few minutes to boot up, but it should be fine. And once your machine boots up, whatever, you might just want to go and just check that it's working. Open up a terminal, put in a couple of commands, or go to a web browser just to make sure that you've got internet access on your VM, because sometimes you could run into issues like, you know, you've got internet access on your PC or whatever, but you don't actually have internet access on your virtual machine. So that's not terribly clear, but this is the wallpaper is black, so don't maybe get too concerned initially. So you see that it says connection established, so that's good. So don't want to bother with that. But you can see initially the whole wallpaper was black, so you might be thinking, oh, is there a problem here or whatever. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to load up. But now we're going to just open up a terminal just to see, does a couple of commands work. So what? We'll try ls pwd we'll just do touch test, and then if we do ls, we can see that we have this test file here. Right, so now maybe we'll just go and check to make sure that our internet is working on this. So the default browser on this operating system is Firefox, so you can go and install Google Chrome or whatever other one you want. So let's just put in YouTube and see that. I do notice that it's run a little bit slow. I don't know if that's just because it's the first time booting up, but I know when I've done it in the past, I didn't have any issues with speed and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what that's about, but we can see that it is working. It's just a little bit slow to load up for whatever reason. But anyway, that's it. So if you want to use, if you want to set up local Linux VMs for maybe testing purposes, or maybe you have Windows or a Mac, but you have maybe a module in college, or maybe you just want to try and learn some basic Linux commands, or you want to go and just get familiar with the operating system, it's a great way of getting started. And really, it's a very low barrier to entry, because you just go and download whatever Linux version you want. You download VirtualBox and you just spin it up. Now I'm going to just leave this for the minute, because we can see that okay, now it's actually loading up now. We can see that it is working. It's just extremely slow for whatever reason. And if I go back to VirtualBox here, so let's say I just go back here, new version, okay. So let's say I'm done with this VM or whatever, and you want to get rid of it and delete it. Just power it off first. So if you've got this here, you can just close it down, power off this machine, select OK, and then once that machine is powered off, so you can see the state is now powered off, just go here and hit remove, and then it'll ask you, do you want to delete all the files that's contained in the virtual machine from your hard disk as well, blah blah blah. So usually you would, if it's only for kind of testing purposes or trying to get familiar with an operating system. Now if you are saving files and things like that on it, you wouldn't want to delete these files, but I'm going to say delete all files because I don't need them. But that's how to set up Linux locally with VirtualBox. I hope you found the video useful and informative. Have a good day.